Hey, everybody, I'm back. It's Mike, and I'm going to talk about Hare Krishna stuff. I got Knitting Cult Lady. I've got some other stuff, and of course, I got some news about BhaktiVidya Purna Swami. So we're going to get right to it. I'm going to start off with the opening and get right to it. Here we go. Let's see.
Hello?
Hello.
All right. Hey, so let's see. Got Jeff. Hey, Jeff. Thanks for being here, man. Hit that like button, man. Thanks a lot. And Adalia. Hey, hello, Adalia Roberts. Thanks for hitting that like button, like, share, and subscribe. So we're gonna start off with Knitting Cult Lady, and this is something that she's talked about before, but I wanted to play it again. Or it's not the same; it's a different video, but here we go. Let's see where'd she go here? Oh, there she is. Okay, and get her in here and get me out of here. There we go. Let's see.
This is such a good question. Is the need of human to have magic in our lives one of the reasons why cults always promise space travel? It's a very interesting question to discuss. I'm Danielle, a scholar of cults, extreme groups, and extremely bad leadership. I wrote a book called Uncultured about growing up in the Children of God religious cult and going into the cult of the U.S. Army. You can get signed copies attached here, or listen to me read it to you anywhere you get your audiobooks, including Spotify Premium. So our leader promised space travel, right? Our transcendent mission was going to be to go live with Jesus in Heavenly City, which was inside the moon. And when Donald Trump came up with the Space Force, I was like, oh, it's culty, it's culty. And I came up with this term. It's my favorite line in the book, Culting of America, out on pre-sale now if you're not on TikTok. And I say cults always promise space travel. Yesterday I was explaining Max Weber's concept of charismatic authority. Charismatic authority is simply when you choose to give someone authority over you because of some qualities about them. And he theorized that we needed charismatic authority because science had advanced so much that we've lost the concept of magic from our lives, and that most, if not all, humans need the concept of magic in their lives in order to survive or to understand the world. I do think there are some people, I'm one of them, that have like absolutely no need for spirituality whatsoever. It's been interesting to watch my child who is different. So I think this is very real, right? Cults are always promising a transcendent mission. This is the space travel, something you have a mission that you're trying to achieve, but you're ultimately not going to get what's promised at the achievement of the mission until you're on a different plane, in a different body, in a different planet, in a different world, in a different dimension, etc., right? Because they always got to keep it ahead. But I think it's a little bit to do with, it's also always a little bit magical, a little bit, something that we can't understand in this world. And that's why we're promising it for the next world. Very good point. And cults always promise space travel. It's such a good heuristic. Keep it in mind.
Well, there you are. So, as we know, Prabhupada did promise space travel. So basically his whole cult is about space travel. It's all about going to the spiritual world, leaving this body, and traveling in your spiritual body to the spiritual world, to a spiritual planet that is far beyond this material universe. You enter into the spiritual universe in your spiritual body. And even when you get to Goloka Vrindavan, then you get your true spiritual identity, which is an 11-year-old girl. So you're transported to another dimension, another plane, a spiritual world, another world, in another body, in the body of an 11-year-old girl. If you do everything right, if you mess up, you could become a monkey in Vrindavan. But the goal is to become an 11-year-old girl, gopi. Just the love of the gopis for Krishna was the highest of the highest of the highest of the highest. So being that 11-year-old girl traveling, space travel past this universe into the spiritual universe, land on another planet, and take on a body of an 11-year-old girl. So you can have sex with Krishna. Now, that sounds like some L. Ron Hubbard stuff, if you ask me. I mean, but hey, who's asking me? I don't it doesn't even matter. But anyway, that's Knitting Cult Lady. And of course, we do know, we can confirm what she's saying, because the Hare Krishna cult does indeed promise space travel. In fact, Prabhupada says he wrote a book called Easy Journey to Other Planets. So you can just check that one off the box of what cults do. And I never even thought about it, how cults promise space travel, but they do. They do. Even Trump is, we're going to go to Mars. We're going to go put a base on the moon, and we're going to travel to Mars and colonize Mars and do the whole thing. Hey, how you doing? Missed you these days. Yeah, I was a little busy. I was just a little busy and trying to get the right time to broadcast, to stream. Wow, I didn't realize that. I mean, you guys are part of my life too, because I'm looking for stuff. I'm like, I got to show these guys stuff. In fact, let me get this out of the way. I wanted to show you. Oh, wait a minute. We got Liam. Hey, Liam, good to see you, man. I'm glad everybody's here. I'm glad to be here. Let me show you this real quick, because I wanted to show you guys this before, and yeah, I didn't get to. So I guess now is as good a time as ever. But this is a photo that I took in Vrindavan of Nrsingadev, and this was in I think 2004 or 2002, 2004 maybe. I went to this temple, and the guy said, you can't photograph in here. And I said, okay, no problem. I won't photograph. And then he changed his mind, and he goes, you can take a picture if you want. So I quickly snapped this picture. And I'm really proud of that picture. I mean, I'm not a Hare Krishna anymore, but you're not allowed to take pictures in there. And he had a big sign said no photographs in there. So I'm that's one of my favorite photographs. I wanted to share it with everybody, because if you're not a Hare Krishna, or you're not into Hindu iconography, who cares, So I finally found an audience. Of people that might care a little bit about that photo. Hey, Tim, how you doing? Great to see you here. So, what else do I got here? I got a lot that I want to share. Hey, Trey, how you doing, man? I'm glad everybody's here, man. Let let me go ahead, since it seems like we took attendance, and it looks like roll call. We went through roll call. It looks like everybody's here. Rafael, I guess, is absent, but it looks like everybody's here. You start the you start the class, and let's see. So I wanted to talk about this BhaktiVidya Purna Swami, because evidently he's back. Now this guy is. Let me just show you what I came across here. So here he is, and it says, I guess this just happened because this was just posted, and because it was just posted, I'm assuming that it just happened. And under the headline, a BVP, BhaktiVidya Purna Swami, is back. Now it was the headline, so it said, "Hey Dan, how you doing, man? Great to see you here." So it says it says his international, just so there's no confusion. So there's no confusion. It says International Society for Krishna Consciousness, and then my eyes are bad. I can't read what that little writing is up at the top there. But then it says His Holiness BhaktiVidya Purna Swami is visiting New Zealand Saturday, August 10th, which was a couple weeks ago, Sunday, August 11th, and Monday, August 12th. And here it says that he's going to give a lecture, what is it? Progressing in spiritual life. And then Sunday, he's giving a Bhagavatam class, Kirtan and class, and then a home program at someone's house. Ugh. And then it says Monday, August 12th, it says a Bhagavatam class, and then deity worship class. And, just so nobody's confused about who this guy is. I don't know, we want to get, this guy was in charge of the school. Well, let's just look and see. Let's look and see what it says about. Let's see what this is. This is from ISKCON, and it says statement by the North American RCB. I don't know what that is. Additional shocking testimony filed against Anirudesha Vapu, former BhaktiVidya Purna Swami. So this is dated March 14th, 2023, and he was going by his original name. He took away his Swami-ness. North American Regional Governing Body. And it says, God, I can't, my eyes are so bad, I can't read. Okay, so it says, North American Regional Governing Body acknowledges the recent shocking and horrifying testimony of child abuse shared by Vedaswar Das, including testimony against BhaktiVidya Purna Swami. And it says Vedaswar Das currently serves as temple president of ISKCON Atlanta. So I guess his testimony is I guess we can believe him. He's a temple president of ISKCON Atlanta. As his colleagues, we accept his statements as factual and are greatly pained to learn of the suffering he underwent and the burdens he carries today. Vedadas has given a vivid report of the physical, sexual, and psychological abuse he suffered caused by Anirudesha Vapu when Veda was a child in the ISKCON Gurukula boarding school in Mayapur, India from 1983 to 1990. Since 83, this has been going on since for years. Generations. This is going on for generations. And they can't figure this shit out. they're still scratching their head going, oh, kids are being molested? Wow. We had no idea. This guy's an adult this guy's a temple president. This cult abused him as a child, and now he's a temple president in Atlanta. Still in the cult. Suffered all this trauma. Did he ever get treated? Obviously not, because the treatment is get the fuck out of this cult. That's the treatment for this. Not stay in it and worship these guys for the rest of your life. From this testimony, it's clear that the Bhaktivedanta Gurukula village, which was later renamed Sri Rupanuga Pramatartik Vidyapit School, was managed by Anirudeshavapu in a way that allowed vulnerable children to be preyed upon. Yeah, because they don't give a shit about kids. They don't give a shit about women. Why you would expect them to give a shit about kids? If you can smack a woman around whenever you want, what the fuck, kid? That's how these fucking monsters think. You kidding yourself if you think they care about kids. Give a fuck about kids. All these people are fucking monsters, man. And the women in this organization that just stand by while all the 40 years of this crap, and he's not the only one. This is just one guy. Simultaneously, many of these guys, just like him, were operating. One in Mayapur, one in Vrindavan, one in Dallas, a couple in LA, all kinds of shit happening simultaneously. And it hasn't stopped. It hasn't stopped. They're letting this guy back in and calling him His Holiness again. After all this shit that he did. And this is just one guy. He's responsible for like 30, 40 kids being abused. I'm not going to read this whole thing. I'll get too pissed off. I'll break my computer. It says, in his testimony, Vedeshwar also expressed his concern for the welfare of hundreds of other students who were harmed. See, they didn't get an education. You can't expect them to know how to write an article and use proper grammar and proper English. When they didn't get they weren't in a school. These people were in a friggin' concentration camp. We note with relief that the Gurukul in Mayapur was converted from a boarding school to a day school in 2022 to promote greater parental involvement and children's safety. This is a spiritual movement supposed to save the world. They can't even operate a boarding school, but they're supposed to friggin' save the conditioned souls from Kali Yuga and material existence. Give me a fucking break, man. They can't even protect their own kids. They got to close down their own schools because their schools are fucking terrorizing and abusing their own kids. I mean, what does that tell you? When was the last time LA Unified School District had to close down one of their schools because of abuse? Never. These guys close down schools like friggin' I don't know what. There's no comparison for what the fuck these people do to their kids, to their women, to their own people, everything. Abusive, manipulative, predatory, narcissistic, friggin' crime wave of human trafficking. I mean, what do you call it when you marry off a 13-year-old girl from the U.S. and ship her to India to be the husband of some guy she never met. It sounds like human trafficking to me. And they can't put these people away. They can't say, get the fuck out of here. They just can't. They can't do it. They gotta let this guy back. Like this guy wasn't bad enough. Like, can you come back and can you come back and do some more? Can you come back and harm some more kids and do some more shit? I'm serious, man. They can't cut this guy loose. They just can't. What do you gotta do in this fucking movement for them to fucking close the door on you forever? Nothing. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do that would make them say you can't be part of ISKCON. You can be a child molesting, friggin' devotee shooting, piece of shit, woman hating, woman beating, child beating, asshole. And they'll call you Your Holiness. They don't care. Your Holiness, hey, you want to be buried in Vrindavan? No problem. Hey, great to see you, man. Great to see you here. Hey, Hayden, great that you're here, man. It's great to see you. What did you say here? He's a creep. He's a creep. Everyone knows he's a creep. But we gotta let him back. We gotta let him back. Not the Swaminess. They're letting this guy back. They're letting this guy back in. They let him back in. They've let this guy back because he's a Swami. Stockholm syndrome. Yeah. These kids, they can't, not even the kids, ordinary people, they can't see it. They'll stand up and complain. These people will stand up and complain, but they won't leave. Like, I don't know what it is. They can't leave. They will stand up and yell and scream and say that this guy's bad and he molested these kids and all of this stuff, and the cult does nothing about it. And do those people leave, get up and go, well, fuck this? No, they don't leave. They stay and continue to complain until it blows up. And then they get kicked out. They'll kick out the people that complain. Of course, they'll kick out the people that complain. Yeah, they only care about growing the cult and getting that free labor, man. I'm glad to see you here, Queen of Karma, man. I'm glad to see you. Well, now the Vatican and the Catholic Church, they got their own problems. But there are millions of people all around the world, and it's their clergy, and they have their issues, but they're trying to take care of it. If they don't, the Catholic Church doesn't have a problem eventually throwing them one of their priests in jail. They'll try to hide it. Absolutely, they'll try to hide it. But the point is, there's millions of people, and so many priests, and there's millions. It's a small percentage. It's a big problem, but it's a small percentage. Whereas ISKCON is a very small group with a very big problem. That's the difference. It's a profound difference. You send your kid to Catholic school, chances are your kid's going to be okay. I mean, something can happen anywhere. And something can happen at a Catholic church. Absolutely something can happen. But your chances something happen at a Krishna school or a Catholic church, you can't even compare the two. and and really you shouldn't. And that's what the Krishnas want to do. They want you to say that. They want you to go, hey, the Catholic Church, they got their problems, and you can find pedophiles anywhere. Yeah, but not like at your place. Not like your place. And we don't worship them out here. Out here in the real world, when we catch them, we throw them in jail. And we prosecute them. We full extent of the law. You guys don't do that. You put flowers around their neck, call them Swami, and let people worship them like they're fucking God man, like they're a holy man. That is a form of violence. That is a form of violence upon a person, especially a little child. What about all these victims of this guy that are in this movement that see this guy is back? He's back. And they're like, oh, this guy, and he's a guru, and these people are worshiping him. The degree of mental illness. It's just... well, it very similar. Yeah, absolutely similar. Yeah. Yeah. Like, yes. What I know about that, from what I know about that, yeah, it's very, very much like that. This cult makes people become pedophiles, not having normal married lives. Absolutely. This cult is a pedophile factory. It turns people, if you read the books and you believe what they're teaching, not only do you have to worship these guys, you have to forgive them. That's why they don't turn them in. Their teachings tell them that it's okay. It's okay. On what friggin' planet is it okay? Really, seriously, we're trying to stop, the whole world is trying to stop child abuse and child sexual abuse, crimes against children, right? The UN has a whole thing about it. Countries, it's a whole thing. Children. This cult is like the opposite. They encourage child marriage. They turn their back on pedophilia. They turn their back on people that abuse children. They worship people that abuse children and call them holy man and call him his holiness and Swami and Maharaj and Gurudev. And they throw flowers at them and wash their feet. That's what these people do. And these people are friggin' disgusting. Not just manipulators. A lot of these guys are predators, sexual predators. Running after that kiwi, man. And not only does it teach them to be pedophiles, it teaches women to be victims. Be subservient. Don't speak out. Just take it. It's your karma. You're in a female body. Just like that friggin' fool, that other Swami was saying. Men and women have different natures according to their different swabhava and swadharma. Yeah, that's what every male chauvinist wants to say. Well, men and women are different. They have different bodies. So that means women should stay home and sew and cook and clean and do all the vacuuming, while the man goes out and, chops down a tree, or I don't know what he's supposed to do. If you can't recognize that type of language and that type of mentality as being totally misogynistic and male chauvinistic, to say, I have to treat women differently because they're in a female body and they're different. They may be spiritually equal, but they got a different body. They got prominent features and all of that. So I have to be sexist and misogynistic because they're not lucky enough to have a man's body. Scriptures, that's what the scriptures say. So the scriptures just reinforce my male chauvinistic ideas. So I'm gonna pick the religion that most follows my mentality, which is male chauvinistic, and hey, I'll go with this one. This religion hates women. Hey, sounds good to me. You guys all wear orange to broadcast that you hate women? I want to put on one of those orange things. I think they're stupid and have small brains too. How can I join your cult? It's human trafficking. I consider arranged marriage to also be human trafficking. Yeah, absolutely. That little girl was raped at 13. The mother married her to a 26-year-old man so he could take her to India and continue to rape her in India. If that's not human trafficking, I don't know what is. I don't know what else. I don't know what else to call it. I mean, I don't know. What is that, a vacation? Was that a Disney cruise? He's taking her on a Disney cruise? This cult is friggin' disgusting. And they taught that mother to marry her daughter off to some grown man after she was raped. She needed therapy. This little girl needed to go into therapy. She needed years of therapy. No, I'm going to marry. I know what I'll do. I'll just marry her to some old fuck, and he can take her to India and continue to destroy her life. This cult is disgusting. So this BhaktiVidya Purna, not only is he responsible for so many kids in his school to be mistreated because he was the head of the school, and this is India, so it's not like the bureaucracy of LA Unified School District. This guy was directly involved. He was whacking them with sticks, beating them, their skin falling off of their ass because he's whacking them with a bamboo club. Because, you know, it's India. They can do whatever the fuck they want. They don't care. They don't answer to anybody. They can treat these kids however the hell they want to. They treat these kids anyway. So not only did he do that, not only is he responsible for that, but according to this other Hare Krishna webpage, it says here, it says, again, word from Mayapur, false guru BhaktiVidya Purna Swami has fallen down with an underage minor. If it had occurred in the United States, the criminal would be subjected to a prison sentence. But since it happened in India and under the protection of the GBC, it is swept under the carpet and forgotten. It's not that people weren't aware of what was going on. Yeah, but they didn't lose any followers because of this. For months, people had been seeing BhaktiVidya Purna Swami going around with this girl, him riding a motorcycle with her sitting on the back right up next to him, cruising the back roads of Mayapur. You know, I don't even need to go on because I don't even need to go on with that. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Oops. I hit the wrong button. It's always the same with these guys. It's always the same story. I feel like I'm reading the same story about Rameshwar when he fell down with an underage girl, and he was picking her up and driving her around and going to the Santa Monica Mall and going to the movies and taking her to all these different places. And right in front of everybody. His disciples followed him and caught him coming out of the movie theater and went, what the hell are you doing? You got a 14-year-old girl, 15-year-old girl with you, and you're friggin' Rameshwar Swami. And you just came out of a movie theater in Santa Monica. You can't make this shit up. Harikesh, he does the same thing. He just did it with his therapist, his female therapist. Then finally they caught on, and they go, what is she your therapist or is she your girlfriend? He's like, oh, I'm out of here. And he leaves. It's the same story with all these guys. Giriraj, this Trivikram Swami. I mean, it's the same friggin' story with these guys. Oh, of course they're going to call it accidental fall down, right? Oh, it's accidental fall down. It's not an accidental fall down when you're riding around Mayapur with a friggin' underage girl on the back of your bike. You gotta be kidding me, man, with these guys. I swear, and where is this? Where is this thing? I swear. Look at this guy, man. Can't take care of the kids in it. Can't take care of the kids in his school. Abuses them, beats them. Ignores them when they complain about being raped. Tells them that, and when somebody was complaining, he famously said, "Hey, sex is sex between a husband and wife. That's not for children, and sex between a teacher and a kid. What's the difference? Sex is sex." That's how these guys want to preach and get away with this bullshit. I mean, this is freaking disgusting, man. The priest I grew up with in the Catholic Church harmed kids, and then we found out he was at 2 churches before 2. They just moved him around. It's common. Yeah, it's common. It's common. And that's why this cult is so dangerous, is because this is a small cult. They don't turn anybody in. They actually worship these guys as if they're God. Look at this guy that I just spent the last 20 minutes talking about what a disgusting scumbag he is. But what does ISKCON say? Oh, His Holiness. What's so holy about him? Why is he His Holiness? Why has he got some fancy name? His name is Alan Wexler. He belongs in jail. If he wasn't in India, he'd be in fucking jail. He needs to be on a sex offender list. People have testified against him that he's done all kinds of stuff. I mean, it take forever to go through. He's going to lecture people about spiritual life in a temple? The guy who's beating kids with a stick till their skin comes off? You tell me that's spiritual life? Ignoring kids when they're complaining about being raped? Riding around with an underage girl on the back of your bike? Is that spiritual too? This guy? And they're going to worship this guy? Call him His Holiness? What the fuck is holy about him? Why is he a Swami? What is Swami about? What is Swami about him? What is so Swami about him? He looks like a fucking degenerate. I don't know what. Cosplaying? They're just cosplaying. He's a cosplaying fucking degenerate, is what he is. And looking at that face and knowing what he's done, it just makes him so much more disgusting. Because if you didn't know anything about him, you just look at him and go, this is some jerk in a fucking, some crazy guy in an orange robe. No, he's a fucking sex criminal. Child criminal. Just real crime happening every day in this goddamn cult, in every ashram, and they want to blame it all on Kali Yuga. They want to blame it. They want to blame it on Kali Yuga. They want to blame it on some mystical, magical thing. Some mystical, magical thing that makes no sense. That's their excuse. That's their excuse for letting this guy back in. Why do you let him back in? Once you've figured out what he did, and what he's done, and what a horrible person he is, why do you let him back in? They do the same thing in ISKCON with these pedos. Yeah, the thing about ISKCON is that it's a fraction of the size. It's a fraction of the size of any other mainstream church, and it's 99% crime. And you get innocent people get caught up in this thing, not knowing what it is. People know about the Catholic Church. They know about that. They know about the pastors and the reverends and and the deacons, and they know about that. And they take that into consideration when they go to Catholic Church. A lot of people, they don't know about this guy. They got no idea that this guy, they think this guy's His Holiness BhaktiVidya Purna Swami. If some guy got a book, a Hare Krishna book down at Venice Beach, he walked down to the temple, and he's like, hey, I got this book, and I want to become a Hare Krishna, and he runs into this guy, he's going to think this guy's a holy man. This guy ain't no holy man. This guy's a fucking scammer. He's a scammer and a criminal. He fucking belongs in jail. And people know about it. You go, the difference between mainstream religions that have criminals in their organization and ISKCON and Krishna cults is that in LA, you got a ton of Catholic churches. There are like 5 Catholic churches just in my neighborhood. That I grew up in a Catholic church. We didn't have any problems at our church. Thank God we didn't have any problems at our church. That doesn't mean that somebody else didn't have problems. We didn't have any problems at our church. But in LA, there's only one Hare Krishna temple. There's only one Hare Krishna temple. You want to go to a Hare Krishna temple, there's only one. And I know there's a bunch of molesters and predators on that street because I was a victim. My daughter was a victim. And those people are still there. 30-something years later, they're still there. They haven't gone anywhere. They haven't gone anywhere. They're probably being called His Holiness, His Grace, His Grace Swavas, His Holiness, whatever. All these people at the LA temple that knew what was going on with my daughter, they're being called. They've moved up the ladder. These scumbags, and this guy a big scumbag. Yeah, so angry because these kids cannot protect themselves. Yeah, that's why kids are the number one victim in cults. Women the second, and men are victims. Everybody's a victim, but kids receive the most trauma and the most damage because they can't defend themselves. They can't just get up and leave. I walked away. I just got up and walked away, and they can't do that. But let me see. I got another video here and I'm just going to show a little bit of it. Let me see if I can find it here. Oh, I want to do this. So let's take a look at this video. Let's take a look at this video, and we're gonna have a little fun. We're gonna cheer it up a little bit. We're gonna go get a little light, a little lighter side, the lighter side of this disgusting cult, if there is one. Let's take a look at this. So this. I guess that didn't work. So as you can see, this is the Renaissance Fair. And this is where everybody dresses up like it's, I don't know, 15th, 16th, 15th century England. You know, they got the Queen there, and they're jousting, playing games, and they got their flags, right? They're just having a good time, pretending. They're cosplaying. They're cosplaying as 15th century English knights and lords and whatever, right? She's all dressed up, and they're having a little party. They're having their little thing. Cool. I mean, I get it. I get it totally. It's all for fun, and it's cosplaying, and that's good. Good for them. So now let's take a look at this. So this is basically the same thing. This is the same video, except this is 16th century Bengali, and all the cosplayers are dressed up like 16th century Bengalis, and they're having a little cosplay fun festival, and they're all pretending to be in the 16th century in India, doing what people did in India in the 16th century. So it's the exact same thing, except for one big difference, right? One big difference with these two cosplayers is that the ones that think they're in India, they believe all the nonsense, all the pretending that they're doing. They actually believe it's real. Whereas the people at the Renaissance fair, they recognize that it's just a Renaissance fair and that they're just pretending to be dressed up in England in the 15th century or 14th, 16th century, whatever it is, with Queen Elizabeth or whenever that was, William Shakespeare times or whatever. They're not deluded. They're not deluded into thinking that they're really in the 15th century and that somehow they need to wear those costumes like all the time, and somehow going to that festival is going to transport them to another planet. I mean, I know it's getting crazy, but this is what. Okay, we'll just cut it out there. Cut it out there. It's coercive control. It's so many things. Coercive control, and it's manipulation, and it's the same control seen in domestic violence situations. Absolutely, absolutely. It is. In fact, I was talking about this one guy that I knew who was a habitual domestic abuser. He had like 7 wives and he abused them all. And he had all these kids. And I mean, and he's going to sit there and lecture about how he's going to tell me how I should live my life and look down on me because of whatever it is that I'm doing. Because meanwhile, he's got friggin' 6 or 7 wives in a 20-year span. A bunch of kids from each wife, all running around, all different ages. I mean, all different generations. I mean, this is just crazy. This shit's crazy. They all become spiritual narcissists with these messed up teachings. Yeah, absolutely. It's like multi-level marketing. You know, like you go out with your books and you sell enough books and you get a little fame. You start getting a little famous or fame. A little, you know, you're not just nobody. You're like, hey, I distribute all these books, and they recognize you that you distribute all these books, or you do all this preaching or whatever. And then you're giving a lecture, and then you're getting all puffed up. And you start not me, but that's the multi-level marketing, and then you just slowly start moving up in stature, prestige, doing this service, doing that service, asked to do this, asked to do that. Now you're somebody's assistant. You're somebody's Swami's assistant, and second initiation, and all because one day you're going to be the guru. You're going to be sitting on the chair with the big, long BhaktiVidya Purna name. Like, what happened to my name? Where'd my name go? I liked my big, long name. I don't know. I lost it somewhere. Yeah, they call them gurus. Yeah. Retards are us, Mental Incorporated. Yeah, these people are crazy. So they actually believe that they are in some kind of India Fest, like they're like at a permanent Renaissance fair. That's the mentality of there. It's like a permanent Renaissance fair. That's just crazy. It's amazing how parents will give up their children to these cults. Some people will do anything for salvation. It's insane. It's especially dangerous when the cult leader is telling you to abandon your children and put them into a concentration camp where they will be abused, and not only abused, but will teach them to worship their abuser as some kind of God man, holy man. That's disgusting. That is absolutely disgusting. These abuser guys, these guru abuser guys, are somehow holy men, and then these kids grow up in this movement and see how their abusers are being treated, worshipped, given a free pass, let back in. I thought you kicked him out. Well, we're letting him back in now. Well, what about me? I'm still in. Well, we're letting him back in too. Well, wait a minute. I thought you were kicking him out because he abused me, but now you're letting him back in, so now I have to see his mug every day? Every day I go to the temple, I have to see this guy who was raping me when I was 11 years old, 12 years old in India. Now he's back. And I'm 25 years old, and I have to go, every time I go to the temple, I have to see this guy because he's giving class every night. Or he comes to my temple 3-4 times a year and everybody has a big party because he comes. This guy that was raping me, this guy that was beating me with a stick when I was 7 years old and telling me it was my karma. And now you guys have his face plastered on these posters and telling me that he's somehow a holy man and we should all be worshiping this guy. This is fucking disgusting. I don't know why I'm the only one on here talking about this. There should be like 20 of me on here talking about this shit. And they get to march around and have these goddamn parades. They get to march around and have these goddamn parades. They have these parades so they can lure more people in, more children, put more children in danger, wasting these people's lives. Look at this old guy. Guy can barely walk.
Swami.
Guy can barely walk. He's some kind of Swami. Wasted his whole life in this thing. These little kids, these little girls, little kids, going to be in danger by the time they turn 11, 12 years old, like my daughter. My daughter was fine when she was 6 and 7. But when she turned 11 and, she started to develop, oh my God. And look, they just sure, come march down the street. Spread your crap. Spread your hate and your crap and your sexism and your misogyny and your child brutality and child sex abuse and domestic abuse and all the other crap that's in your books. Yeah, come march down our street and spread all your shit all over the place. Why? It ain't.
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Holy man.
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Yeah, because they believe in reincarnation, so they aren't children in many of these belief systems. Well, actually, in their books, girls become women when they start to menstruate, when they have their period. So as soon as a woman starts to have her period, they consider her a woman. It doesn't matter if she's 11, 12, 13, 14. So as soon as that happens, and they just assume it's 11. They just assume 11 years old. She's ready to go. And it's in their teachings. I've done shows where I've brought up their books and read right from their books all their disgusting crap. And they teach it right in their books. And these people have no clue. These people are marching around with their little kids, and they don't know the harm that their kids are in, the danger that their kids are in. I'm trying to tell them. I'm trying to warn them, and they just don't get it. They don't know. They don't know. It drives me crazy. It drives me crazy. It drives me crazy because it's so easy to find out. It's so easy to find out. Like I wanted to find out shit about this BhaktiVidya Purna Swami. I wanted to find out about him. All I had to do was type his name in. All that shit came right up. How he beats kids and whacks them with a stick, and he abused. And I found the thing about the underage girl. I mean, it's not like you got to be friggin' Sherlock Holmes, because I'm definitely no Sherlock Holmes. This shit's right on the internet. It's right there for everybody to see. Scientology has similar beliefs, like the children are 900-year-old spirits, so they can handle what adults do. Yeah, they have a similar belief, but they believe that these kids that were abused in their schools, because they abuse their own kids. They're abusing their own kids. See, if they were abusing other people's kids, as much as, like, they abused my kid, but I was in it. If they were abusing other people's kids as much as they abuse their own kids, oh shit. This place would have been burned to the ground. Burned to the fucking ground. But they abuse their own kids. And they're all brainwashed. And they believe it's their karma. That these kids did something in their past lives to be abused in this life. And it's better that they're being abused in this life, because then it'll free them of all that karma. So it's actually kind of like a good thing. It's friggin' disgusting. They got to twist themselves into friggin' knots to make it make sense, and they do. They do. Karma must have caused us on. Yeah, that's exactly what they say. That's exactly what they say. And because that's their philosophy, that everything is karma, anything that you do is your karma. So naturally, if these kids in their own schools were abused by their own philosophy, it's their karma. It's disgusting. And they want to turn around and say, well, these are not ordinary kids. These kids came from the heavenly planets and took birth in this movement so they could be part of this movement. And then you raped them and abused them? These heavenly demigods that came from another planet, these heavenly demigods that came from the heavenly planets that descended down so they could be in Lord Chaitanya's movement and be part of this great Hare Krishna movement, ended up getting raped and abused and beaten, and some of them killing themselves. And that's how you treat these demigods that came from the heavenly planets? Are you out of your fucking mind? I know you don't believe that shit. I know you don't believe it. You don't believe it any more than you believe there's a demon head eating the moon. You don't believe there's no demon head eating the moon. If you do, you're freaking stupider than I thought. Because ain't nobody going to go to Harvard. Nobody's going to go to Harvard and come out of Harvard, spend hundreds of thousands of dollars going to Harvard, getting a degree, and come out and think that there's a fucking demon head eating the goddamn moon. Unless you're a Hare Krishna. If you're Hare Krishna, then you go to Harvard, you spend $200,000 to get a degree, and you come out thinking there's a demon head eating the moon. That's... The brainwash from this cult is beyond any other religion. They want to control your diet, your personal life, your self-esteem, your sex life, your friends, your family, your children. This crap is worse than Jim Jones. It is Jim Jones. If Prabhupada was alive today and he said, I want all my disciples to kill themselves, they would do it. It is Jim Jones. They want to, not only do they want to control the things that you just said, they want to control your underwear. They want to control what underwear you wear. They want to control your diet, not just vegetarian. They want to control what vegetables you eat. Oh, you can't eat mushrooms and you can't eat onions, you can't eat garlic, but you can eat ginger and turmeric. I mean, it makes no sense. But they want to be in control of it. If they can control that and control all these other aspects, then they got you. Like they said, fixed up, they got you fixed up. It's all about karma of past lives and how you deserve certain abuses as well. Yeah, it's grooming people and men and women to be abused. It's your karma, and you're burning it off. If you get hit and you break your arm, you're supposed to say, "Oh well, I'm glad I didn't die. At least I only got an arm break. That's my karma. You know, I did something wrong, so now my arm's broken. Ha ha ha. That's my karma." Don't give me that shit. I'm going to join a religion that treats me like that, that has no respect for my well-being. You have no respect for my well-being. You don't care if I'm hurt or not. In fact, you want me to glorify the fact that I broke my arm by saying you should be glad you just broke your arm and that you didn't, break your neck. Fuck you. What are you talking about? The fuck? It's like when my wife passed away. And we were having a little program for my wife. I mean, I knew it was a Hare Krishna program, but I was overcome with grief. I just lost my wife. And they are all going around the room praising Prabhupada on behalf of my wife. Talking about how great it was that my wife, who wasn't a devotee, how great it was that she got to see Prabhupada before she passed away. And everything was about Prabhupada. It wasn't about my wife. Fuck her. The only good thing she did was that she got to live in a house that had a picture of Prabhupada on the wall. And they couldn't stop talking about Prabhupada. Like was her karma, was to come and see Prabhupada, and then she died, so what? Who cares? At least she got to see Prabhupada. At least. The fuck you mean at least? The fuck you mean at least? Is there no love and compassion in this Hare Krishna movement? You couldn't come into my house after my wife passed away and bring some rice and some sabji and some rice or whatever, and come in and go, "Hey man, I'm sorry your wife passed away, man. I'm really sorry." And just leave it at that. You couldn't do that. You had to come in and say, "Hey, it's a really good thing that she saw Prabhupada and she got to see these pictures, and you got to tell her and all this stuff." That was I'm gonna tell you right now, that was a real wake up call, and that was probably that and another instance that really opened my eyes to the mentality of these people. Like, I mean, I'll I was one of them. So I was one. But there's there's only so much that you can just go, "Hey, all right, whatever. Okay, whatever." No. I wasn't saying okay, whatever to this. This forced my eyes open. They will kill your identity and brainwash you to just destroy you. Yeah, absolutely kill your identity. That's why everybody shaves their head and wears the same thing. All the women look the same. All the women got a really pretty sari on, and their hair is braided, or it's up, or it's whatever. It's all the same. Especially if there's a festival or something, they all got to look the same. They got to put the gopi dots on the same, and they all got to dress the same, and they get in formation, and they all dance the same. It's just, it's, when you start to look at it that way, you see it differently. When you're not in it, if you're out of it, and you've never been in it, and you're watching a festival or whatever, anything, you see it a certain way, and you go, oh, that's the Hare Krishna, they're like cold or whatever, and you see it a certain way. You know, but if you're in it, and then when you're in it, you see it a completely different way. But when you've been in it and you're out, and you look back, you turn your back and you look back at what was going on, it's a whole nother story. I hope it is, because it should be. That's what I'm here to tell you. Because if you haven't realized that, you need to go back and watch some more of my video. It's a whole nother story. When you've been in it and you understand what's going on and you're out of it, and then you see this guy's picture on there and you realize what's going on, is, you know, they're not just letting him back in. They're letting him back in. It's urgent. It's extreme. It's not like, oh, this isn't for me. It's like, this is a friggin' cult. You know, when you really understand what's happening, there's an urgency to it. There's a depth. There's meaning. It's not that it's just that just wasn't for me anymore. No. That's like saying, you know, I was in the mob, but, you know, the mob's not really for me. You know, it might be for that guy, but not for me. No, the mob is the mob. It's not a career choice that you want to make. Yes, they tell parents it's how their child will get closer to God. Yeah. You got to burn off that karma. You got to burn it off. You know, you bang your thumb with a hammer trying to nail something, and you bruise your thumb. It's like, hey, I just burned off some karma. So now that karma's gone, and I'm now, I have that much less karma to deal with. And I stub my toe, and it's like, okay, that karma's gone. I've got that much less karma that's gone. So if your kid is abused in the school, well, shit. You're telling me my kid's slate's been wiped clean? I mean, I don't know how much worse they can get than that. You've been abusing my kid for 7 years in the Gurukula, and I didn't know it? That's what this shit's about. That's why it's horrible. That's why it's just, not only that, but these kids are taught that these are holy men, that these are holy guys, that the guy that raped them was a holy man. You got raped by a Swami. And no Swami, that was Alan Wexler. He was born in Chicago, 1955, Metropolitan Hospital. His dad was Joe Wexler, and his mom was Marie Alexandra Wexler, whatever. You know, Swami. You know, Holiness, BhaktiVidya Purna, Durna, Swami, whatever the fuck he wants to call himself. That's a bunch of bullshit. You prove that when you raped the first kid, when you molested or abused the first kid. You gave that shit up. That's not who you are. You're a fucking alias, so you can go commit crimes. It's like the sacrifice is warranted because the family will all live together in heaven closer to God. It's sad. It's like a sacrifice. Well, they also believe, the Hare Krishnas believe, that that's not really your mom and dad, and that's not really your kid. My daughter brought home a Father's Day card, and it said, "Thank you for being the best father figure. You know, happy Father's Figures Day," or whatever. Father Figures Day or whatever. I was her father figure. They were teaching her that I was her father figure. I wasn't even her dad. I wasn't her dad. I was her father figure. Like, if you have to leave him because he's doing something wrong, leave him. Or if you have to abandon her because she's not a Hare Krishna, abandon her. They kept telling me I needed to move away from my mom and dad, who were nice enough to let me live in their house, help take care of my daughter, help raise her. I was a single parent. I wasn't working. I got laid off. And they're like, well, you can come live with us for a while you get your shit together. The temple wasn't going to let me do that. They wanted to charge me money. They charged me money for her school, charged me money for her rent. But they're telling me I need to get away from my parents because they eat meat. How is it accidental at all? It doesn't. None of their shit makes sense. He really does look like a creep, and he was convicted of child sexual abuse in 2022. Well, they convicted him in their own little court. I need to warn Danny that he's coming to New Zealand. You need to let people know that New Zealand has a couple of temples where these guys come through. These guys come through and they have their festivals. They spread their books. They do their whole little thing. And guys like this are welcome. They have temples. They have a big farm area in New Zealand. They have a big farm community. You can YouTube it. If you type in YouTube, you type in ISKCON New Zealand, and you'll get all the information you need. You get all the information you need. You get all the information you need. Holy my ass. These guys are not holy at all. Man, it's his name is Alex Wexler. His name is Alex Wexler. Absolutely. His name is Alex Wexler, and he's been accused and charged or a lot of things. People have come out and spoke out. You know, here's let me show you this video real quick. A little bit of this video. So this is it's called Systemic Abuse. How did BhaktiVidya Purna get away with it? This is from 2022, and here you go. You got these are bigwigs in ISKCON talking about this guy. It's not like they don't know.
Hare Krishna. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for tuning in, and please share, please comment. We have a couple of guests, Sanaka Rishi Prabhu and Dhira Govinda Prabhu. Their long-standing involvement with this particular case, the case of BhaktiVidya Purna. BhaktiVidya Purna was the headmaster for some time of the Mayapur Gurukula and very actively involved for 20, 30 years in various forms of child education. And it seems that for much of that time, engaged in very abusive practices, which have now come to a head. And finally, after I think the third CPO investigation, we're seeing more stringent restrictions. So let's get some introductions going. Dhira Govinda Prabhu, you were the Child Protection Office Director from 98 through 2004 and have actually handled the BhaktiVidya Purna case several times. Tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, so the point of me showing this little clip is not that we're going to hear anything, but the point is that look at these guys. They're sitting around talking about. They know about this guy. They're having a Zoom meeting, November 19th, 2022. So this is 3 years ago. So 3 years ago, they were having this Zoom meeting talking about this guy, talking about how they put stringent measures. What stringent measures? The guy belongs in jail, goddammit. He belongs in jail. These kids need justice for this guy. Not, oh, he can't, he shouldn't be allowed to give a class. The fuck is that? He needs to be kicked out. He needs to be arrested. What is wrong with these people, man? He just said, this has been going on for a long time, and this has been some horrific activities, and he just said this is a horrible case. Multiple cases, he says. It says right here, you've handled, you have actually handled the case several times. They've been going back and forth with this guy multiple times. And then they finally tell him, you kick him out or do whatever. Now he's back. So what happened between November 19, 2022 and September 1st, 2025? That's barely even 3 years. I mean, so what? He's guilty of all this shit. He's guilty of all this shit. Everybody knows he's guilty of all this shit. They know he's guilty of all this shit. The kids, I mean, everything. He gets a 3-year sentence of what? He's not allowed to do what? What was he not allowed to do for 3 years? And he didn't, not even 3 years, because it's September 1st, and this is November 19th. What were the restrictions that they put on him that he couldn't do for 3 years that rectified, that he somehow has rectified his debt to these kids and to society and as a whole? What has he done? How has he repaid his debt? Usually when somebody commits a crime and they're guilty of something, they have to pay back in some way. Either monetarily, they pay a fine, or damages, or sometimes the crime, let's say the crime of shoplifting or something, right, is, let's say 6 months to a year in jail and $10,000 or something, right? So sometimes it's jail and money, or just money, or just jail, depending on what the crime is and what the sentence is. So what was this guy's sentence for all the stuff that he did? What was his sentence? He didn't even serve it, because he only served less than 3 years of his sentence. So what was his sentence for 3 years? What did he have to do? How did he give back? Was it his time? Did he have to do community service? I wouldn't want the guy around my community, but did he have to do something to pay that debt? No. I'll tell you right now, no. Did he have to pay a fine? Did he have to pay back the children that he'd abused, or the institution? Did he pay back, reimburse them for any kind of fine, like $10,000, 6 months in jail, and $10,000? Did he pay any? No, he didn't pay. I tell you, I answer that question right now. He didn't pay shit back. So what did he really have to do for? Well, he had to hang low. He had to hang low for 3 years. You know what I mean? He had to hang low. He had to like fly under the radar. He couldn't go out and be BhaktiVidya Purna for 3. That's a big sentence. He couldn't go out and get flowers thrown at him and have his feet washed and have his disciples drink the water. Well, he did that. He did that in private, but he couldn't do that in public. That's his sentence. He wasn't allowed to go sit on a little chair and give his class and talk about his mythology. He wasn't allowed to do that. That's his sentence. So all the shit that he did, all these horrible activities that he did, that they had to investigate for numerous years and handle these cases several times, and had Zoom meetings and GBC meetings and resolutions and all of this stuff. What was his punishment? I don't know. According to this video, it says, how did he get away with it? So it sounds like he got away with it. It sounds like he's continuing to get away with it. The Department of Justice should get a report on this man. Absolutely. If they don't, I would believe that they would. I would assume that some sane person, has done that a long time ago. I mean, this case is from a long time ago. But that's actually something to look into, because I would think that authorities have been notified of this guy, but I mean, you got to. I don't know how you get charges brought. There has to be evidence. There has to be testimony. There has to be depositions. There has to be grand jury. It has to be. There's a lot. Like they just don't go out and grab somebody and go, "Hey, we heard you did something." So I don't know how. I don't know how that happens, especially when he's in India half the time. False prophet, man. He's a fake God man. These are more than just. Yeah, they're prophets, but these guys wanted you to think that they're God. They're next to God. They're pretty much they're God. What does he say? As an Indian, I agree with you. This man must be punishable. It's not about religion, country, or anything. It's about our children. Yeah, at some point, it has to be about right and wrong. It has to be about right and wrong, and it's not just. There's a lot of things to say about ISKCON cults. There's a lot you can say. But we don't even have to talk about that. Let's just talk about protecting these children from these friggin' predators. I don't have to talk about anything else. I don't have to talk about how old the books are. I don't have to talk about any of that. I don't have to talk about any of that. Let's just talk about this guy. And that's enough. That's enough to rattle anybody's cage. Is how do they handle a guy like this? And it's not just him. He's one of many. He's not the exception to the rule. He's the rule. That's what I'm trying to say here. This Alan Wexler guy, he's no different than Brian Tibbetts, Indrayumna Swami. No different. And Brian Tibbetts is no different than Lokanath Swami. And Lokanath Swami is no different than Prabhavishnu Swami. And Prabhavishnu Swami is no different than Rameshwar. And Rameshwar is no different than Bhavananda. And Bhavananda's, and the list goes on and on and on. And you'd be surprised if one of your favorite and most friendly people that you know on that list. And they're on that list. It's like Epstein files, man. He's on it. We have a temple here in Ottawa as well. I looked it up. Yeah, and I'll look it up too. So if you want, I'll do some investigating. I'll find out what I can about your temple in Ottawa. See what's going on there. I guarantee you, there's some shady shit going on. Shady shit going on in every temple. What is the cult parade? So every year they put on this big festival in every city around the world, and in your city too. They put on this big festival, and they call it the Festival of India, but it's not a Festival of India. It's a cult festival, and this is their big day to spread their shit, their books, and their preaching, and all of their crap. It's their big, big day. This is Christmas and New Year's and everything all rolled into one. And they pull out the big chariots and they have a big festival. And it goes on all over the world. And it's nothing but a big cult pedophile festival. All their pedophiles come out. All their gurus come out. And they all want to be at one of these festivals. And and first of all, they shouldn't be allowed to do that. That's what I'm saying. Anybody who knows anything about this cult is going to go, the fuck are they doing? These people get to have a parade? I mean, come on. Rocket science gone wrong. Rocket science, man. Fraud created these monsters and keeps creating them by the day with his books and teachings. Yes, absolutely. A group of ex-disciples of Narayan Mahafraud are in contact with the Department of Justice and the FBI, as they should be. Yes, absolutely, man. It has to come to that, and it's hard because the wheels of justice are greased with money. And the money comes from these cults, unfortunately, but they do. They do. Very similar, pay for coaching classes and to move up the organization. Yeah, yeah. Yep. Yeah, hey, it's great to see you, Queen of Karma. It's awesome that you're here. And anybody out there that wants to know more about cults, you can check her out. She's really good. All the wackos of the world parading and chanting garbage, secondhand embarrassment. It is. It's an embarrassment, and I know a lot of Indians don't like it either, because it's mostly Western people dressing up and pretending to be gurus and Hindu. It's a Renaissance fair. It's an India fair. It has no more significance than the Renaissance fair. It really. I got my period at age 9. 11 is too young though. Not for Hare Krishnas. The Hare Krishnas. I've gone over it. It's in their books. I've gone over it in their books, and it's really disgusting. It's really disgusting. This mantra gives me anxiety and horrible PTSD. It does. Me too. Me too. Me too. Sometimes, and one thing that I used to listen to a lot, along with chanting and devotional music, I would just listen to Indian music, just Indian music from Vrindavan, like not ISKCON music, and not Hare Krishna mantras or anything like that. Just Indian music, like Bollywood or just not Bollywood, but whatever, just Indian type music. And even though it had nothing to do with ISKCON, and sometimes when I hear that, I get a little PTSD, which is really, I feel like Clockwork Orange, like I've been brainwashed to hate something I like because it's associated with something I hate. Like Indian music, my brain associates it with Hare Krishna. And so when I hear Krishna music, I kind of freak out a little bit. Just a little bit. I don't like to hear it too much. I have to turn that shit off. And when I hear Indian music, it can be a similar thing, and I don't like that because it has nothing to do with Krishna. It has nothing to do with Hare Krishna or ISKCON or cult or anything. It's just Indian music. But I hear that the drum and the beat and the whatever, and it's a little PTSD. Yeah, it happens. I totally know. I get it, man. I get it. It sounds like it's based on Sant Mat and Radha Somi beliefs like Ekikar. Yeah, it is. It's very similar. It's like different branches of the same tree. That's the best way to put it. Like different branches of the same tree. Yeah, it can be traumatic. It can be, and I'm sure there's a lot of ex-devotees that are in here that feel the same way. There is no love or compassion in ISKCON. No, only for Prabhupada. All your love and compassion, everything is only directed at Prabhupada. It's directed at Prabhupada or your guru. And Prabhupada even says, you can't even love Krishna if you don't love me. You got to love me first, and then I'll deliver you to Bhakti Siddhanta, and then he'll deliver you to Bhakti Vinod, and Bhakti Vinod will deliver you to whoever, and then you'll work your way up, all the way back up, and then you'll get to Lord Chaitanya, and then Lord Chaitanya will take you to Radharani, and then Radharani, if she feels merciful, she'll say, hey, Krishna, I like this little girl, because remember, you're an 11-year-old gopi. This little girl is good. Why don't you take then Radharani is kind of like, fixes girls up for Krishna, I guess. Because if you're friends with Radharani, then you're in there with Krishna. You can't get in there with Krishna unless you're in there with Radharani. So all your love and everything is only going in one direction, and that is towards Prabhupada. You don't have love for anyone. That's why I was just a father figure. They didn't want my daughter. They didn't want they wouldn't want to teach my daughter that I was her father. I was her father figure. Think about that. That's grooming her. They're grooming her for that moment when she says, "You're not my dad. I'm the disciple of BhaktiVidya Purna Swami. I'm the disciple of Trivikram Swami. You're not my dad. You're just my father figure. You just happen to be the one who supplied the semen and my mom's egg, and then I came in. You're not really my dad. You're just some guy." They were planting that seed in her head. She was like 6 years old or 7 years old, and they're telling her in school, in the Krishna school, this is your father figure. It's Father's Day. It's Father Figures Day. We say Father Figures Day. So we're going to make everybody going to give their father a Father Figures Day, and you're the best father figure that I could ever have. Now, I didn't realize it was grooming back then. I looked at it and I was like, "What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this?" But now I'm realized that this is part of the grooming. Part of the grooming kids. I might not be a devotee one day, and she's going to be a devotee, and she's going to have to reject me. You're going to have to reject me and say, "Hey, that's not really your dad." It's insane. That's what's going on. And teaching the parents the same thing about the kids. That's not really your kid. You can put her in the Mayapur school or the Vrindavan school or the Dallas school, and you can go off and play Hare Krishna, and you just leave your kid in the school. It's better for the kid anyway. That's not really your kid. It's not really your kid. How else do you brainwash someone to give up their kid? So you can go play Hare Krishna and go sell some stupid fucking books. How brainwashed you got to be to stick your kid in a boarding school that you ain't never been to, you ain't never seen, you don't know anything about it. You're just going to mail your kid to this boarding school, and then you're going to go off to sell some fucking books with some fucking idiot guru guy. How fucking brainwashed you got to be. You got to be, I'll tell you how brainwashed you got to be. You got to be brainwashed like these guys. You got to be brainwashed like these guys. They're handling childhood. This guy, all of them know. All of these guys know that BhaktiVidya Purna Swami is a fucking creep. They all know that he belongs in jail. They all know they ain't going to turn him in. Because hell, we're not going to turn one of us over to one of them. Why would we do that? Why would we take a devotee, Hare Krishna, and give him and turn him over to the karmis? To the meat-eating karmis. Well, maybe you should have thought about that, Maybe he should have thought about that before he started molesting and abusing kids. And why do you feel bad about this guy? You don't feel bad about the kids. You don't seem to give a shit about the kids that were molested, but you care about him. We can't turn him in. We just can't turn him in. That's how brainwashed you got to be. And this guy, this Sanaka, he's the one who was confronted in the temple room when he tried to bring it up, and all these goons attacked him. Well, I could have told you that wasn't. I could have told him that wasn't going to work, but you know, he did it, and he proved a point. He made a point. Do you think anybody in that temple room was like, "Hey, man, this is some bullshit. I got a guru over here that they're saying he abused all these kids, and obviously he's trying to deflect, and now these goons are beating up the guy that's telling it like." How did everybody just sit there? Like, you know, it's like when Indra Swami was molesting those little girls. He's rubbing his hands all over their bodies. 8-year-old girls. 7, 8, 9-year-old girls. And the women are standing there watching like it's normal. Now, I'll tell you right now, if I was doing that, those women would not have been acting like it was normal. I guarantee it. They'd be yelling at me, "Look at that Carmi, Joe 6-pack, beer drinking, hamburger munching, lottery ticket buying, Carmi, whatever, Malecha, Yavana, sense enjoyer. Look at him, he's touching those little girls." That's what they would have said. But Indra Swami, he can sit there and just manhandle these little girls like it's fucking disgusting. And then nobody says a word. Nobody says a word, man. Pause. Great to see you, man. Every time I see you, it's like I don't know. I get anxiety because I don't know what you're gonna tell me. I don't see the next comment. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm in suspense. Let me get back. Okay. Pause. I got to get behind the brick wall for this one, man. What's going on, man? I'll try to catch up on you next one so I can give you some updates and hopefully get your opinion on some things. No, I need to know now, man. Oh, did you go away? I hope you didn't leave. Oh, man, the suspense is killing me. I'll try to catch up on the next one so I can give you some updates and hopefully get your opinion on some things. So as you know, this person's brother got a hold of a book. Somebody gave him a book because their grandmother passed away. My condolences to the family. The grandmother passed away. Somebody gave him a book and said, "Hey, here's Bhagavad Gita," or whatever. Read the book, and that was it. It's all over. Turned into a devotee. Read the book, and came in, and then came in and was asking me, "Hey, my brother, man, he quit his job. He read this book. He quit his job, joining this temple, and he's gonna go to India and milk a cow." And I said, "Man, I'm sorry, man. It's too late. They got him. And so he went to India, and he was in India milking this cow. And then he came back from India, and he ended up getting initiated by one of these swamis. One of these swamis got him. And now he's under the thumb of this swami. He can't. Well, this is the last update I had. He came back from India, and he was living in Gita Nagari, which was Satsvarup's farm, but it's somebody else's farm now because Satsvarup's like, cuckoo, cuckoo. And so somebody else has this farm, and that's where he's at. At least that was the last update I had. He was at this farm, and he was like doing computer work or doing book, I don't know what he's doing. For some guru, for this guru. They snatched him up and got him. And for all you people out there that are not Hare Krishnas, and you're just like, you don't know what's going on, that's how it happens, man. And that's how it happens. to get these books out there. And you know, I don't know what it was. I don't know how it happened, but he got this book. And all he did was just read this book, and he just said, and, excuse me, but yeah, just, and then he's off to India to milk a cow. Now he's initiated. He's probably got some wacky name, and he's doing whatever he's doing. And that's how it happens. And who knows? Who knows what's going to happen to this guy? He says, I'll try to catch you on the next one so I can give you some updates and hopefully get your opinion on some things. So something's going on, and I don't know. Something's going on, and I don't know. And I'm glad that now that there's a community, so that when he comes back and he tells me what's going on, there'll be more people putting their input in. They can understand and help this person out, get their brother back. Because there's really nothing. There's no magic word. There's no magic phrase. There's no magic thing that you can say. Everybody's different, and everybody has a different experience. So there's no magic thing that's going to work. You got to come in here and listen to me talk over and over and over again, and eventually, maybe it'll get through. That's the only thing I can. That's the only thing I can say. And he did say that, or this Paz did say that he did come into he has watched these shows. And I'm sticking by what I said. I think it's Bunny. I think that's who it is. I think it's Bunny. I don't know if it's Bunny or not, but that's just my guess. Premananda Prabhuji is a guru who discriminates against women in his ashram. He threatened the ladies he would break their legs if they got close to one of his male monk servants. Why would a woman stay in that? Why would a woman subject herself to that type of treatment? What is it that how they break them down? How do you break a woman down to get her to you hammer to the brain, man. Here you go. Dan Peterson. These Hare Krishna parents are masters of detachment, raising criminals, fake renunciation, fake doctrines. It's a pure evil cult. It is. It's a pure evil cult. I come to that same conclusion. I really do. And that doesn't mean that every person in there is evil, but the cult that they're in is evil. And one day they're going to recognize it. Hopefully they'll recognize it. That's the only conclusion you can come to. With all the crap that's going on in there, there's no other conclusion, because people like this, if this was a real spiritual movement, you wouldn't have these guys in here handling this BhaktiVidya Purna case several times, having these Zoom meetings about it, having it going on forever, admitting that it's systemic abuse, and how did he get away with it all these years? And he's not the only one. You wouldn't have this in a real spiritual movement. You just wouldn't. And you wouldn't blame Kali Yuga. You wouldn't say, well, we're a real spiritual movement, but we have all these problems because it's Kali Yuga. Well, then why have your spiritual movement? If Kali Yuga is stronger than your movement, then maybe your movement's a failure. You ever think about that? That maybe your movement is a failure? If all you produce are these fake gurus, and gurus that fall down, and gurus that commit crimes, and gurus that run off with women, and gurus that run off with money, and gurus that marry underage girls, and gurus that do all of this stuff, well, then maybe it's just not it. Maybe it's just not it, guys. Have you thought about that? No. You'd rather let BhaktiVidya Purna Swami back. You'd rather let him back than come to the conclusion that maybe this ain't it. Maybe this ain't fucking it, man. Damodar Das, Indira Govinda, David Wolf guy. He's the guy that emailed me when my daughter got molested. I talked to him on the phone. I think I talked to him on the phone. These guys don't give a shit about kids. He didn't talk to me like he gave a shit about what was going on. He talked to me like a guy in HR who wanted to make sure that he wasn't going to get sued. That was it. He wanted to know if I'd gone to the police. He wanted to know if I had a lawyer. He wanted to know where we stood legally with the investigation and this and whatever else. And when he found out I wasn't even initiated and he had no leverage over me, he was like, okay, bye. Who's your guru? I don't have a guru. Oh, you don't have a guru? No, I don't have a guru. I'm not initiated. Oh, okay. Well, thanks for talking. See you later. Bye. Haribo. What's there to even debate or discuss when it comes to these pedosexual? That's what I say. What is there to even debate? Why do you even have to have a Zoom meeting? How rigged are ISKCON's rules that they didn't have enough having to settle around 400? You've got kids that are coming out in mass that are saying we were molested, we were beaten by Damodar Swami, we were beaten by Yashodanandan, we were beaten by, well, I don't know about Yashodanandan, but I heard he roughed up some kids. So Damodar Swami, BhaktiVidya Purna Swami, you've got many kids coming out and saying we were abused by these characters. You don't need to. What do you need to investigate? Talk to the kids. Talk to the kids. Talk to BhaktiVidya Purna. No, they can't do that because they're not detectives. They're not investigators. They don't know how to talk to a criminal and know if he's lying or not. They don't know how to do that. They're gonna interview Bhaktividya Purna Swami. He's gonna say, "Oh, Haribo Prabhujis, this is ridiculous. You know I would never harm a fly. I've been serving Srila Prabhupada for 35 years. You know, in Bhagavad Gita it says that if you make offense to a Vaishnava, you'll have to take birth in hell for billions of billions. Oh, this is bullshit." And they're going to sit there and go, "Oh, yes, you're right. You're right, Maharaj. I'm sorry to bother you." No. Guy needs to be interviewed by the police. They need to sit him down and go, so tell us what was going on in the school when you were the principal. What were your duties as the principal? What was your day? What did you do on the daily? Give us from the time you woke up in the morning until you went to bed at night. Run us through your day as principal of the Mayapur Guru. That's what they need to. If they want to investigate this guy, sit him down with friggin' Columbo and friggin' Jim Rockford and whoever, and let them investigate this bullshit. These guys don't know shit. What? Because they're an expert in mythology that they're gonna be able to figure out who's telling the truth when they got the testimony of all these children, grown children, adult children? How much investigating you got to do? This is such bullshit. It just boggles my mind. It is so much bullshit that I can't. What boggles my mind is I'm the only one talking about it. I'm the only one talking about it. I don't see anyone else talking about this. And if I wasn't talking about it, nobody'd be talking about it. You wouldn't be able to go. You wouldn't go on and see anybody talking about how this is all a bunch of bullshit. They'd have all these videos, and this idiot's upset that my video pops up on his feed because he's a brainwashed friggin' cult member, and my videos pop up on his thing, and he's mad about that. Well, good. I hope my videos are popping up on every friggin' Hare Krishna's feed. We need more people to do this. More videos can pop up on people's feed. The idiot thinks I did it. He thinks I put my video on his thing. He doesn't realize he's brainwashed, a brainwashed idiot. YouTube knows it and he don't. YouTube's like, hey man, you're brainwashed. You need to watch Mike. And my video pops up on his thing. And he's too dumb to realize what's going on. What is there to even debate? There's nothing to debate. I know, it's so crazy. I don't understand how people are still involved in the movement with all this nonsense. With all this nonsense on the internet. And really, you know, that's what it is that, you know, the internet and videos like mine and video, there's other people on there. I'm not saying I'm the only one. There's other people on that make videos, absolutely. Skeptic Perspective and a lot of people making videos. But these videos on there, it's important that people see these videos and that they're so easy for people to see and readily available. Devotees can see them on their phone. And you know, you want to watch BhaktiVidya Purna Swami's video and my video pops up right next to it. Well, that's great. That's great that my video pops up right now. Maybe they'll click on it. Maybe they won't. Maybe they won't. Maybe they will. I mean, but at least it's there. It's there, and that's the best thing about it. And that's a great thing about the internet and YouTube is that, you know, we're all equal in that way. You know, I'm just as equal as this Vedic inquirer. You know, he's got, you know, 592 subscribers, and I got 400 and something. So I got almost as many as Vedic Inquirer does. So, you know, like we're all, you know, the internet is a great equalizer. So, you know, I hope in the future I get more people on here doing what I'm doing, so we can just flood the zone with videos and the truth, and people know what's going on. Radha's Krishna's pimpette. Yeah, it's a weird thing going on. I mean, you know, and you can say, well, you shouldn't say that's offensive. You're saying it in your books. You say all this stuff in your books about Ramananda Roy touching little girls. Why? How come when I say it, it's offensive? It's milk touched by the lips of a certain. But when Radha Kun talks about it, that's the thing. These guys aren't anything. There ain't no lips and milk touched by the lips of a certain. There's serpent. It ain't no different if I talk about it or BhaktiVidya Purna Swami talks about it. BhaktiVidya Purna Swami, he's going to clean it up. I'm not cleaning shit up. It says in these books that Lord Shiva was chasing after Mohini and he ejaculated. And where his semen fell was the 7 holy places in India. Now, how do you clean that up? It's what it says. Is that my fault that it says that? Is that my fault? Is it my fault that it says in the scriptures that Lord Shiva got an erection when he was chasing after Mohini? And he got so excited that he ejaculated. Is it my fault that it says that? Is it my fault that Prabhupada describes these gopis as having full breasts, milk flowing from their breasts and wide hips, swaying as they ran to meet Krishna down by the river so they could participate in the... Is it my fault? I didn't write that. I didn't even translate it. I don't even distribute that shit. I'm just repeating what it says in the book. You want to say that's all that stuff for yourself, so you can say, well, this is a pornographic. Who says it's not pornographic? For 1,000 years ago, that shit's pornographic as fuck. Okay. Okay, fake human. Just Control yourself. I'll stop talking about Lord Shiva. What a piece of crap you have to be to trust your child to someone else. How criminal. You know, it can be if you don't know the person. Absolutely. I mean, you hand your baby over to a stranger in a park and go, "Hey, watch my kid for me while I run to the store." Yeah, you're pretty friggin' stupid. That's pretty stupid. That's pretty stupid. You know, and how much different is it to put your kid in a boarding school and you never even been in a boarding school? You're just putting a kid in a school because the guru writes you a letter and says, hey, John of E. Davy, I think you should put your kid in the Dallas school and you should head out to San Francisco and open a temple and sell my books. And she goes, oh, wow. I get to put my kid in, Prabhupada says put my kid in the school and I can go to San Francisco and sell his books. Woo, yay. I'll dump my kid off at the school in Dallas and I'm off to San Francisco. How fucking stupid is that? That's what my friend Radhakunda did. I don't know exactly how, but his kids, he never saw his kids growing up. He was off playing Hare Krishna. He was bouncing around temple to temple, here, there, go to India, go there, go here. India for a little while, St. Louis for a little while, LA for a little while, Laguna Beach for a little while, back to India for a little while, back to Bangkok for a little while, back to LA, Badger, I go to Badger for a little while. He didn't care. He didn't care about his kids. He had like 2-3 kids. He told me. He told me when we were going to India. He's like, I want to stop and see my son. You know, I never saw him growing up. He was in the Gurukula, and I was whatever, and I never saw him. Never saw him. You know, I'm a single father. I got a 11-year-old girl or whatever. She's everything to me. You know, she's everything. She's everything. Go to Disneyland, go camping, birthday parties, and Christmas morning, and all of these things. Easter and ice skating and all of these things. It's my little girl. I mean, my princess or whatever, right? That's how I'm thinking. That's why I get this Father's Day card that says father figure. It's like, I'm no father figure. I'm dad. What are you talking about, father figure? I'm as dad as anybody. No father figure. I'm not dropping my kid off in no school and go run off to play Hare Krishna or bounce around the world and never see my kid. Second time I see my kid, the kid's 18. What the fuck? The fuck? You have opportunities to spend time with your kid growing up, man. You gotta take that shit. A lot of parents don't have the opportunity to see their kids grow up, and they're working all day, and maybe have 2 jobs, or kids are in school, and you're at work. And you see it for a couple hours a day on the weekends. You go to whatever. That time is precious. Those few hours a day you get to spend with your kid when they're not in school and they're not asleep, you're not asleep. That's precious time. That goes by fast. They put their kid in a school. That's done. And Radhakuni, he didn't spend any time with his kids. He didn't have a father child. He didn't have any of that. He wanted to go sell books and run around and wear a dhoti and shave his head, and he didn't give a fuck about his kids. Not in the way, I shouldn't say he didn't give a fuck about his kids, but not in the way that a parent cares about their kid. A loving parent, he didn't have no loving. Bullshit. Gopinandini and Rajendranandran. Okay, I know who those people. I know who those people are, but I don't know them. At Badger Group, abandoned their underage boy in India. The man became a woman abuser, repressed man with mental issues galore. Well, who would have thought that would happen? You know, it's just your parents just abandon you in India. That's what I'm saying. Like they didn't have no. There was nobody. There was no normal person they could take that kid. Like grandma, grandpa, or auntie, or uncle and auntie, or cousin Sue. They could raise your kid. No, you're gonna put him in a friggin' some fucking cult boarding school so you can go play Hare Krishna? That's fucking insane. I mean, you know, you might as well just abuse your kid. You just abuse your kid. I mean, that's worse abuse. It's like, you know, I can't abuse my kid here. You abuse him. He thinks he will have to save his parents by sacrificing his life and become a brahmachari guru. So just, yeah. If you do everything correctly, you can take 5 generations of your family back to Godhead. I remember them telling me that shit, that bullshit. I had my grandmother living. My grandmother was living with us. Was living with my mother. And my mom and dad. My grandmother was living with my mom. She was like, she had dementia, and she needed assisted living. She was like 99 years old or whatever. She was like 96 years old or whatever. You know, she was just out of it. And I remember the Hare Krishnas telling me, this is around like 2000. This is like around the year 2000 when she passed away. I remember the Hare Krishnas telling me that me being a Hare Krishna, that I was rescuing my grandmother and 5 generations back. You know, don't worry about your grandmother. You know, you're because you're a devotee, you're rescuing 5 generations of your family from a hellish life. So, like, is as if manipulating you into believing that you're saving yourself and you're getting rewarded in the afterlife for you. If that's not enough manipulation, let's put the burden of your your 5 generations back. That burden that you're saving them too. So you're not just saving. So you have all of this burden on you, Mike. It's not just you we're talking about. We're talking about all your ancestors, 5 generations of ancestors. They're all counting on you. They're watching you. They're going, yeah, come on, Mike, you can do it. You can rescue us from this hell. What the fuck? Me being a devotee, now I'm responsible for rescuing 5 generations of my family on both sides of my mom and dad. Like how many friggin' people is that? How many people is that? 5 generations? Like, come on, man. That's a lot of people you're putting me in. And I'm responsible for like 300 people or something. Like, what are you talking about? I'm responsible for 300 people now? 400 people? You get out of here. What are you talking about? Talk about manipulation, man. That no one called out Indra Yumna molestation shows the unquestionable power of the guru. It's impossible for them to do anything wrong. It's impossible for them to do anything wrong. It's impossible for any of these people to think for themselves. They can't think for themselves. They just cannot break free like I did. Like I came to the conclusion that Tattva Darjan he deserved to be in jail, and they shouldn't have broke him out. And I wasn't having anything to do with it. I came to that conclusion on my own, but nobody else could come to that conclusion. Even my roommate, who we talked about it for hours and hours and hours, for days, for weeks, for months. We talked about it. We were in agreement 100% about every single thing, 100%, 100% of the time. But when it came time and I said, I'm done, he said, not me. He said, you're on your own. You want to go up against Yashoda and Nrsinga and Dhammagosh and Nityananda and all these other, you want to go up against them? You can go up against them on your own. I'm not going up against them. And he turned his back on me. He turned his back on me. And when that happened, I said, I got to get out of here fast, because now I can't live in the same apartment with this guy who was with me 100% of the time on 100% of the issues and everything. And then at the last minute, he goes, oh, sorry, man, I'm not, Well, shit, you know everything that I've been saying, because I thought we were together. You're a bigger phony and a bigger fake than all of these guys, because they came clean from the get-go. They turned on me from the get-go and were telling me, I was this and I was that and I was this. You pretended to be on my side. You pretended to be on my side the whole time all this shit was going down. You were right there with me. And then when I say I'm leaving, this is bullshit, I'm leaving, you're like, no, not me. Well, yeah, I thought you were too. Not that I cared. I was shocked that he made a U-turn. I was just like, what? I thought you were okay. Bye. It didn't affect me at all. Other than I was like, oh, you're with them. You're with them. He knew he knew. He just couldn't say, just like all these other guys, he could not put his foot down. That makes him a criminal too. Basically. It makes him an operative. It makes him a criminal too. He did not say nothing. He was letting me do all the talking. I'm like, yeah, taught Madarsh on this and Yashoda Nanda, and they went to India behind my back, behind our back. And he's like, yeah, they sure did go behind our back. We didn't know anything about it. And I'm like, yeah, we didn't know anything about it. They kept keeping it from us. And we go, all this stuff. And he knew. But he's not going to do nothing about it. All these guys are. You can't tell me these guys don't know. You guys are convincing me that Vadi didn't know. You're going to try and convince me that Vadi Raj, well, he didn't know. He was confused. What the fuck? Good on you for not getting initiated after 20 years in the movie. Well, I was initiated into I took a Ritvik. I had a Ritvik initiation in 2003. 2003, something like that. Me too. I reckon we'd find such an awesome group of people if that left ISKCON spoke about, yeah. I'm glad that we have this group. This group is more than I never expected anything like this. Hey, look who's here. Hey, have you heard about Radhanath Swami having relationships with women? Is there any truth to this? Can you talk about it? I just recently heard that he had, okay, so I recently heard that someone mentioned that he had a relationship with one of his servants or something, a boy, I don't know. And so then I did kind of look into it. I think I did a search or something. I kind of wanted to see if there was any writings, if anybody had posted anything. And somebody has posted something about that they think that he's been having relationships with a female or some females. But other than that, I really don't know. It didn't really say much. All it did was, all I was able to do was confirm that there are rumors. There are definitely rumors out there that he's had some relationships. That's all I can say. That's all I know is that there are rumors, and I'm still trying to look into. Now he's really good at keeping shit under wraps. He's really good at keeping all his crap within his little bubble. But I did hear that there's rumors, so I'm not sure what I don't know what else there is to talk about. But if I would like to, I would love to find out and talk about it, because he's a scammer too. He's just another scammer. Hey, Afila, good to see you here, man. Great to see you in here. Radha Swami is super gay. Maybe those rumors women are to clean up his reputation. You know, it could be. It could be. That could be, because let's talk about it. So Radhanath Swami, because I don't really know him that much, and I've never spent a lot of time around him. I've seen videos of him, and I saw him at the LA Temple when he first came back. When he first came back, he gave a lecture at the LA Temple, and he was like welcomed back. That was like his comeback concert was at the LA Temple. This is like in 92, 93, 94, something like that. It was, and that was the only time I actually saw him in person. Was that one time at the LA Temple, and I didn't really even know who he was. I was like, "Who's that?" And they're like, "That's Radhanath," and I was like, "Oh, who's that?" And they're like, "Oh, he was with Kirtanananda," and I was like, "Oh, that guy." And but from the videos that I've watched of him, lectures, talking, everything, he has the same characteristics and mannerisms of every gay guru I've ever met. And I've met probably 3 or 4. I've met 3 or 4 gay gurus. And they didn't have a sign that said, "Hey, I'm a gay guru," but they're not. I don't know. They're gay. Okay, I just, I and the reason I say it is because I have gay friends, or I have some gay friends back in the U.S. There was and this was a strange guy. This was a guy that I didn't know. He was an actor, and he was in my movie. We were filming this short film that I wrote, and they hired this actor, and he came, and he was gay. And he was a nice guy, gay guy, but you could tell he's gay by his mannerisms, the way he presents himself as a gay man. Right? He's not in the closet. He's open about that he's gay, and that's how these guys are. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say like these gay friends and gay people that I meet, that I work with, that I've met over the years, whether it's doing comedy or wherever, in a nightclub or wherever, and they're gay, and they project a certain gay image or a certain gay personality. And they're gay, right? It might be the clothes that they wear. It might be the way they talk. It might be their mannerisms or just the way they conduct themselves, but they are showing the world that they're gay. Right? That's what they're, whether subconsciously or consciously, covertly or overtly, that it's just part of their personality. And it's, other people are in the closet and they can be gay and they don't present any, you wouldn't know, because they're not presenting any kind of person, in that way. So that's what I mean by gay gurus, gay devotees. Jagjivan was gay. He presented himself as a gay man, but he was, he wasn't flamingly gay, but he definitely stood out. I mean, we had a program, and everybody's there, and I said, hey, I want one of you guys to come in and see if you can guess who the gay guy is. You'd pick him out in a second, okay? There'd be no doubt in your mind which one was Jagjivan. And so I'm not trying to be homophobic or anything, but that's just I'm saying these are the circumstances. And so Jagjivan, Krishna, BhaktiVidya Madhava, whatever his name was, Krishna, Rohini Kumar. I knew him as Rohini Kumar Swami, Krishna Balaram Swami, I believe. There were a couple other Swamis that I met that had that same type of gay personality or gay mannerisms, gay air. Radhanath, same thing. Same thing. He sets off the gaydar, okay, if you want to say it like that. He's on everyone's gaydar. Gay guys know that he's gay. Maybe I'm gay. I don't know. I could tell that Rohini Kumar Swami was gay. I could tell he was gay. There was no question. Krishna Balaram Swami, he was gay. Jagjivan, he's gay. That's it. And Radhanath Swami, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't, and they're going to sit there and preach about homosexuality is bad, and it's mental illness, and it's demoniac, and no sane person should have anything to do, and they're farted out of Lord Brahma's ass, and all of this stuff. Radhanath would rather be found out with women than men. It's his biggest fear to be found out that he's gay. He loves massages by his servants, will rotate servants and scout for new ones. It's so disgusting. It's so disgusting. Okay. Now, it's not disgusting in itself as far as like if a homosexual man wants to have a homosexual relationship with another man. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But for a misogynistic, woman-hating, fake guru who's manipulating and scamming his disciples into giving him a lavish lifestyle that he doesn't either deserves nor whatever he has anything he shouldn't. He doesn't deserve the lavish lifestyle that his disciples heap on him because he doesn't do anything for them. And for that, so he's scamming them, and then he's going to sit up there and he's going to preach this disgusting crap to these people about how women like to be raped, and women, there's 3 things you can beat: a drum, a woman, and a dog. And you say, Mike, you always say these things. Well, this is what they preach. This is what they talk about. Ask anybody in my chat. They talk about women have less intelligence, women have small brains. They talk about this stuff. They talk about it. Well, they like to say, well, women. They'll say the less intelligent, including women and the Sudras and women, as if that somehow that lessens the blow. I think some others are like him too. Yeah, there's a lot like him. Wow, I've been going a long time. I'm gonna have to cut it off here. I wanted to. Let's spin the wheel. We can spin the wheel, and then we'll end it with a wheel, spin of the wheel. Spin the wheel of idiot. Where's my wheel? Here we go. Okay. I don't really have a preference on where it lands. They're all the same, if you ask me. One idiot is as good as another. But you can, put your money down on where you think it's going to land. The wheel of idiot. And we'll see if who it's going to land on today. And let's give it a big old spin. And this is the marker was over here above my head. Here we go. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, I had some theme music, but I didn't get it going. Oh. Hey, and it landed on Yashoda Nandan Swami, my old friend. My old friend. My old friend Yashoda Nandan. So let's see if we can find a video of him being stupid. Let's see. I don't know if I'll be able to. Let me see. I think I will. Oh, here we go.
To hear from realized souls. Because there was a popular philosophy that was spread by a disciple of Prabhupada, that now that Prabhupada is departed, you can no longer just hear his tapes or read his books. You have to hear from the lips of a living person. But Prabhupada did not speak this. So many times Prabhupada explained that if you hear the Srimad Bhagavatam, his books, his unrevised books, provided you can get them, you still can get them, his unrevised books, then you will get all benefits. That is the direct association of a pure devotee.
So just to make it clear, so that there's no mistake, no misunderstanding, you got to get the original books with all that crap in them. With all the crap. Don't let them change any of that crap. Don't let them water it down. Women are less intelligent. They like to be raped. They got small brains. Black people belong in the jungle. Civil rights is wrong. All that stuff. All the original stuff. He's saying right there, he's saying you got to read the original books, not the ones that they're changing and taking that stuff out. They want to take that stuff out. They want to take out some of that stuff that he says about black people and women and Hitler and the Jews. They want to edit his books. They want to take out some of that stuff. They don't think that stuff is so good for modern times. So he's saying, you got to remember, he's saying, you got to read the books with all that crap in it. All of it. Don't get the changed books. Get the real deal.
How do these people explain that during Srila Prabhupada's manifested presence or during his physical living presence, many persons became disciples who were initiated?
You can't just say during Prabhupada's life or lifetime. It's his, what did he say? His manifested
without physically meeting.
Manifested.
Many persons became disciples who were initiated without physically meeting. Srila Prabhupada's manifested presence or during his physical living presence.
His manifested presence or his physical blah, 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 whatever. This is bullshit. God, I hate this bullshit. It's there's just another guy just babbling on. Where's my
What in God's holy name are you blathering about?
Let me tell you, man, he can blather. He can blather on. He can talk more than me. He can go on forever and ever and ever. So that's our Wheel of Idiot today. It was Yashoda Nandan on the Wheel of Idiot. So clap for that one. So yeah. Oh, anyway. So you were Radhanath's personal servant for years. He didn't let people massage him, nor was he scouting for servants. In fact, he preferred to travel alone, maybe in Chowpatty, but no one really got close. Yeah, these gurus that like to travel alone and go off on their own, they're doing something, man. They're doing something. Why? Why? These guys don't want to. I tried to introduce him to a gay person once at Chowpatty, someone I had met on the street and brought to the temple. He didn't seem like he wanted to talk to him. I got the impression he doesn't. He doesn't like gays because of his experience with Kirtanananda. He doesn't like gays because he is gay. It reminds him that he's in the closet and he's living a fake, phony life. That's why these guys are angry and all this stuff. I felt that was one of the issues he was somewhat intolerant about, although quietly, not publicly. These guys all have issues, man. Tamal was, they're not holy men. They're not spiritually advanced. They're not anything. They're faking it. You're showing on, this guy's faking it. This guy ain't spiritually advanced. This guy ain't spiritually advanced, all with his tilak and his chadar and his pictures of Prabhupada and his books. Some of those are my books. And his books and his bullshit. Thinks he's friggin' Swami. You know, fucking Swami. None of these guys are Swami, especially this guy. Especially this guy. Original bedtime stories. Yep. Bedtime stories. They're bedtime. They read Krishna book before they go to bed. They drink hot milk and they read about Krishna and the cowherd boys and how, they went out and they were herding the cows and some demon came along and scared them, ooga booga. And then Balaram stood up and said, "Hey, you can't scare my brother. I'm Balaramaji." And he took the demon and he ripped him in half and threw him in a tree and threw him in the river. And Krishna was like, "Oh, wow, you're so wonderful, my brother. I just love you so much." And who cares? This is fucking stupid shit. Kirtananda was banging little Nepalese boys in his camper, and I think Radhanath caught him or something. Yeah, that's exactly what. Yeah, you got it right. You got it pretty much right. That's pretty much you summarized it pretty well. If you want to call it that, if that's what you want to call it. A lot of guys will not show their true side to certain servants. Not sure what years you served him, but it is a total different story. This one guru, Premananda Prabhuji, only molests some of his monks. Yeah, I got to know Yashoda pretty well. I mean, as well as any servant guy would know. I wasn't really a servant, but I was kind of, we didn't use that terminology, but I was kind of like his assistant. I was the secretary of the board of directors. He was the president of the board of directors. So therefore, I was his assistant, if you want to look at it that way. He likes the Indian servants. The one Indian gay guy who served told on him because he fell in love with. It's always the jilted lover, man. It's always the jilted lover. You know what? That's what they tell you. They tell you, man. These gurus should know better. I see. He's supposed to know past, present, and future, but he didn't. He couldn't see the future where he got exposed as being a closeted gay man. That future he couldn't. That future he couldn't see. gay people don't like other gay people, that's a huge red flag. You know, gurus, look, man, these holy men, these gurus, they should be preaching love and acceptance and compassion and empathy. They should not be preaching division and hate and preaching that karmies or karmies and meat eaters. They shouldn't be talking about it like that. Conditioned souls, the suffering conditioned souls, and how they're going to go to the hellish planet. I mean, that's, you know, describing the hellish planets, trying to scare someone into being a good person because of all the horrible things that are going to happen to them if they're not a good person. Like, you know, like you give drink molten lead and have spikes driven up your ass and all these things. I mean, it's just, and you want to pass that off as some kind of spiritualism, it's not. Spiritualism is him sitting on a seat going, you know, you guys got to be good to each other and be peaceful and nice and happy. Chant God's name and protect the children and protect the women and don't beat the women. And hell, oh my God, don't beat the women. Don't even beat a dog. Don't beat a dog. Don't beat women and don't beat a drum and don't beat a dog and don't smack your woman. Or he should be preaching like that. He shouldn't be preaching all these opposite. He shouldn't be preaching about shun your family and your father's not your father. He's just a father figure and these aren't your real kids and these aren't your real family and all of this crap. It doesn't do anybody any good except cause them anxiety and depression and mental illness. When you got people committing suicide because they can't handle the teachings in your religion, you know, there's something wrong with your religion. If you're a gay person, you come in the religion says, hey, you know, if you just chant Hare Krishna, you can be gay in this religion. Just chant Hare Krishna and don't have sex. Just chant Hare Krishna, everything good. And that person goes nuts and kills himself because they can't handle the stress of being in the religion. You know, maybe there's something wrong with your religion. You're teaching love and peace or love and compassion or whatever, and yet you can't take care of your kids in your own friggin' care. Child marriage and all kinds of abusive practices. It's just insanity. There's no way to try to make it make sense in some kind of I can't sit here and try to make it try to explain how all this craziness makes sense. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. And they can't explain it and make it make sense either. Don't let them try to fool you. You sit down with one of these guys, you sit down with this guy, he's going to try and tell you how all this shit makes sense. He's just going to bamboozle you and word salad you and confuse you and just bullshit you. That's all that is. Oh, wait, what do we got here? I heard about the Indian servant who fell in love with Radhanath Guru, but he was threatened to disappear. If not, they would kill him. See, yeah, that sounds about right. And that's just more evidence that you don't want anything to do with this friggin' cult. You don't want anything to do with this cult. Like Trivikram. You think that girl just fell in love with him? No, he's responsible. Like they say, it takes two to tango. He could have ended that shit. He didn't have to have sex with that woman. With his disciple, he didn't have to do that. Now she's the victim. Now she's the fucking victim. This is fucking disgusting. Yeah, the impression I got was that Chowpatty devotees did not want gays or trans people at the temple at all. Probably not. Probably not, because they're homophobic and they're friggin' predators. The whole thing just stinks, man. And but you know, sometimes you have to like, you go, if Radhanath Swami is gay, would that answer all the questions that we have? Would everything make sense if that was part of the answer, if that was, you know? And so then you got to do that. You go, well, yeah, it does make sense. It explains why he treats this person that way. It explains why he doesn't want to have this. It explains why he did this with that person. It explains why they don't want to have gays around the temple. It explains this. It's, you know what? If we assume that he's gay, hey, it explains everything. Sometimes you have to do that. That is a red flag. Straight men have no problem with gays unless they are attracted to them, or they have. Straight men have no problem with gays unless they are, you know, they're not. They have manhood issues. A normal man who is totally fine in his manhood, with he's got a wife or a girlfriend. He doesn't have a problem. He doesn't have a problem. He doesn't have a problem. Like I do open mic in my city in a gay bar. It's in the gay part of town, and it's in a gay bar, but that's where I can do open mic because they let me do open mic. I'm not gay, but I do my open mic in this gay bar. And they let me do whatever I want in there. So I love the place. I'm like, hey, I'm doing an open mic in the gay bar. But I know that a lot of people don't want to go. They don't want to go because they don't, either they got a hang up of, either they don't want to be seen in that part of town. They don't want to be seen in a gay club. They, for whatever reason, now they might feel like, hey, I don't know, I might get attracted to some guy and all of a sudden I'm gay. I don't know what's going through their mind. I don't want anyone to see me because they might think I'm gay. Or I don't know what's going through their minds. But some people don't have a problem. I have people that come. I have people that perform on the open mic. I have people that come sometimes. Sometimes I don't get anybody to come. It's open mic, so you know how it goes. But the point is that if you're a heterosexual man and you don't have a problem, and you're secure in who you are and how you see the world, you don't have a problem with these things. You just don't. But if you have some issues, maybe some unresolved childhood issues, maybe some unresolved mother or father issues, maybe some unresolved sibling issues, maybe you've had some trauma in your life, maybe, who knows? And so you're like, hey, I don't know if I can be around gay people. I don't know if I want to be around gay people. I don't know if I want people to see me around gay people. I don't know. I don't want to be around. I don't know what it is, but there's definitely something there. And those people that have those men who have a problem, I think they have unresolved. They have some unresolved issues. Some unresolved issues. I don't know what the issues are. I don't know what the issues are. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a doctor. I'm not anything. But I think in the Hare Krishna movement, there's definitely something there. You got a lot of gays in the Hare Krishna movement that are either in the closet or they're out of the closet. You got both. And you got gay gurus, you got gay brahmacharis, you got gay temple presidents. They know not to mess with you. You were probably very serious about your seva and your faith. Yes, I've noticed the monks muck around with people they want to mess around. They want to mess around with them. Yeah, these monks, these any of these guys that call themselves monks, man. You're a brahmachari, you're not a monk. They call themselves monks because they feel like it's a position. I don't know. It's bullshit. Okay. Yeah, meditating on that banana. I have always figured it was because Indians are generally homophobic, especially those living in India. The Chapati devotees hate Muslims, and that's another topic. Well, I got news for you. Indians maybe generally they may be homophobic. I mean that may be a perception, but where I am in the part of the world where I am, there's a big gay area where I do my comedy. There's a big gay area, and there's a couple big gay areas, and there's a lot of Indians hanging out with the gays. A lot of Indians in the gay areas, a lot of Indians with the gay, with the transgenders, a lot of Indians with the transgenders, a lot of Indians with the gays. It's everybody. I mean, Indians, everybody. I mean, you can't say this national is really gay. I mean, I don't know if it works that way. But yeah, it's I think the culture is homophobic, like in the scriptures and everything, right? It's homophobic, but the people themselves, I don't. The same Indians are hiring ladyboys, and they sure are. Not all Indians are homophobic. No, but ISKCON teaches it. And that's where it gets all twisted up. So, hey, listen, everybody. I want to thank you all. This has been a great episode, great therapy, a great class for me. Just sharing this with you, and then getting all the information that you have it's a great sangha. It's a great coming together, meeting of the minds. So I want to thank you so much. You don't know how happy I am that you guys come and participate. It's really great, and I enjoy it so much. So I want to thank you for that. If there's something you want me to talk about, you want me to investigate, or just you want my thoughts and opinions on stuff, definitely let me know. I will. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to bring it up. You are welcome, man. Thanks for coming in. I want to hear more stories about your time. I want to hear everybody's story. Everybody's got stories. I want to hear them. Exactly, not all Indians, but the ones disgusted gays sometimes are down low, just like any other. And that's what I found out. I thought Indians were very homophobic, but then, like I said, I noticed here they're just like everybody else. There's just as many Indians in the ladyboy area and the gay area as anybody else. This is no different. It's just no different. Yeah, it's being on the down low. Yeah, and I'll tell you, a lot of Indians here, they're not even, and that's what I like about where I am, is it's very open. Like I said, I do my open mic in the gay area in a gay club. It's a very open area where I live, and guys are just out there just doing, being themselves, and it's great, and I love it, and it's and the Indians are out there being themselves and loving it, and they're and to see that, because I thought they were very homophobic, very very Vedic, in their culture, because if you go to India, that's what you see. If you go to India, you don't see Indians outside of India, right? But when you go to someplace like where I am, Southeast Asia, and there's a big Indian community, and you get to see how Indians are when they're not in India, and they're just like everybody else. They're just like everybody else. So, hey, I want to thank everybody. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe button. This has been a great stream today. So thanks, everyone, for joining in. Have a great day, great morning, great afternoon, great night, wherever you are. Have some great luck. Please stay out of a cult. If there's anything you want me to talk about, like I said, just let me know. Leave a comment or send me an email, and I'll be happy to look it up. And I'll be back. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll do some more. We'll do some more spinning of the wheel, and more updates. So thanks everybody, and here we go with the closing credits.